And welcome back, Kludge Kids. Of course, this is Spike, and I am here also with the Wolf.
Hello again.
And if you're just joining us, that was an excellent song by the Rocket Summer with the Roses.
Love that song.
And before that, we heard from 21 Pilots with Guns for Hands. And you may have heard a very special liner for 9/11. If you guys are asking or curious about this, those are actual real victims and survivors. Some of those phone calls were actually from people that were on the planes during that tragedy.
Yeah.
So I really hope
that worked really hard on those.
I really hope that gave an emotional response. If it didn't, you might want to check your pulse because the last few days has been a really difficult time because we know that God's sovereign, we know that God's good, but sometimes we see so much pain and so much strife and just horrible things going on, whether it's from the past or currently. I saw some kid in Columbus got stabbed the other day.
Yeah.
Some ninth grader, and it's just.
And I just talked to my mom recently, and there's like a murderer on the loose in their neighborhood. He killed his horse, his wife, and went to go kill his daughter, but she climbed out of a bathroom window, and now he's on the loose in their neighborhood. And it's just like so sad.
And you see this stuff, and people atheists go, well, how can God exist in a sovereign godly way, with all this bad stuff? First of all, the world's on the downturn, and that's because of our own sin nature, unbelief. This was not a product of God. God intended for the world to be perfect and for us not to have to deal with all this pain and suffering. Unfortunately, because of the sins of Adam and Eve and that sin nature that we now inherit, that's the way things are. It wasn't set up to be that way. And one day Jesus Christ is going to come back and he's going to make it perfect and he's going to set everything straight. So you can either be on the side of righteousness and you can be there when things get perfect, whether that's in heaven or when the rapture happens, or you can be on the other side of that, which is judgment. And I don't really think you want to be on that side of it.
I know, I don't.
So I guess what we're getting to the surface is, I was talking to somebody earlier. I can tell you, even at 17, after these attacks happened, my breakfast has never tasted better in my life than what it did. So I guess...
I was 16 when it happened, and I can tell you right now, and I was just telling somebody earlier too today, that in my whole high school, I was a junior in high school at the time. I do not remember all my high school halls, but I can tell you the hall from the class where the first attack happened to the class that I walked to where I found out about it. I can tell you exactly where both those rooms are just because it's so vivid in my memory that going to that room, finding out, and then leaving that and going down to our cafeteria and watching the news as the second plane went into the other tower, and it's just a really vivid memory, like it just happened yesterday still.
And people ask me, how do we go on moving forward? It's really simple. We live a godly life and we love each other, and that's how we honor these people that have passed away. That's how we do that. We live a godly life. God has called us to righteousness and to be healers for the world through his spirit, and not because of anything that we've done, but because he's given his spirit to us for us to spread that love. Let's start the healing now. Let's just not try to just get people into heaven. Let's try to get people's lives to where they're not in disarray anymore. If I see any more of these heartbreaking stories, I feel like my heart breaks over and over again for them. And all they have to do is come to one realization, which is that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. And if they understood that, so many of these things would just go away.
Yeah.
And just... I guess what I'm saying is, let's not be pew sitters anymore. I'm so sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of people sitting around not doing anything. And it might make it sound like I'm on a soapbox, but...
Well, I think, too, the other thing... I don't mean to cut you off, but the other thing... When we're going through sick and tired, I'm sick and tired of the people who are like, my life is so horrible. My life is so horrible. Things are so bad. And it's just the Eeyore Christianity included. Things may look bad to you, but in the bigger picture, is it that bad? Is it really that bad?
I don't think it is. The reality is, you guys know the truth. There's people that don't know the truth. They're blind, and they have no choice but to live with their compulsion because they have this sin nature. You don't have that anymore, so there's really no excuse. So get off your butt, basically, and start doing something. Start telling people about Jesus, because if we don't, then basically we're just hypocrites, and there's no point in it anyway.
And you know what? We don't know when our time is ever going to be up, nor do we know where anybody else's is. So, if you don't minister to somebody, that could be their last chance. to receive Christ and hear the word before they go.
So
You never know.
Let's just not miss the opportunity to love each other and to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. What's our next song we got?
We've got Stellar Kart coming up with Something Holy.
You're listening to The Clutch on 98.9.
You say that the wells run dry and there's no more tears to cry. You're searching for something real to make you feel. You know that you're incomplete, a song with a broken beat. There's a hole in all our hearts and there's a reason why we were born to be a part of something holy. All of us are restless till we find we were born to be a part of something holy. Bigger than you and I, bigger than all our lives. The hunger you feel inside that keeps you unsatisfied, it pulls at you constantly like gravity. This world never was enough. We're made for a deeper love. There's a hole in all our hearts. It's part of the design. We were born to be a part of something holy. All of us are restless till we find we were born to be a part of something holy. Bigger than you and I. Bigger than all our lives. All our lives we long for something more. The life that we were all created for. We were born to be a part of something holy. All of us are restless till we find we were born to be a part of something holy. Bigger than you and I. Bigger than all our
And I start screaming, and I ask those 15, 20 people to call upon the name of the Lord. And the most incredible thing happens. And not one tried to argue with me, not one called upon any other God or tried any other form of religion or faith, because the name of Jesus is so powerful.
People 2 floors above me to the top of the, they all died. And 2 floors below me, they all died. And just that little area we were in, 14 of us survived. So, how do you explain that?
You say you'll never forget where you were when you heard the news on September 11th, 2001.
Watching people die changed my life forever.
Neither will I. I was on the 110th floor in a smoke-filled room with a man who called his wife to say goodbye.
Hey, just always know I love you and the girls. Tell my mom too.
I held his fingers steady as he dialed.
Tell everyone I love them.
I gave him the piece to say, "Honey, I'm not going to make it. But it's okay. I'm ready to go." I was with his wife when he called as she fed breakfast to their children. I held her up as she tried to understand his words.
The message that he left for me
And as she realized he wasn't coming home that night,
meant everything to me. I clung to it.
I was in the stairwell of the 23rd floor when a woman cried out to me for help. "I've been knocking on the door of your heart for 50 years. I said, "Of course, I'll show you the way home. Only believe in me now." I was at the base of the building when the priest ministered to the injured and devastated souls. I took him home to tend his flock in heaven. He heard my voice and answered. I was on all 4 of those planes, in every seat, with every prayer. I was with the crew as they were overtaken. I was in the very hearts of the believers there, comforting and assuring them that their faith has saved them. I was in Texas, Kansas, London. I was standing next to you when you heard the terrible news. Did you sense me? I want you to know that I saw every face. I knew every name, though not all know me. Some met me for the first time on the 86th floor. Some sought me with their last breath. Some couldn't hear me calling to them through the smoke and flames. Come to me, this way. Take my hand.
I believe it was the Holy Spirit because I don't take authority. And I told, no, please just get out of this building.
Some chose, for the final time, to ignore me. But I was there. I did not place you in the tower that day. You may not know why, but I do. However, if you were there in that explosive moment in time, would you have reached for me? September 11th, 2001 was not the end of the journey for you. But someday your journey will end, and I'll be there for you as well. Seek me now while I may be found. Then, at any moment, you know you're ready to go. I will be in the stairwell of your final moments. Remember, I love you.
None of us will ever forget this day. Thank you. Good night, and God bless America.